French convoy removing French citizens was shot at. One person was hurt. Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman is the founder of the organization Gift of the Givers. Dr. Sooliman, good afternoon to you and thank you for your time. Very difficult to get people out of Sudan at the moment. What help are you able to give?
Good afternoon, Stephen. We're working together with DERCO, with intelligence services, with the embassy, with the South African people on the ground. We managed to arrange buses yesterday to take them out today. In fact, we had many more buses than two. And the company that arranged it, unfortunately, they got struck by shells and 17 of the buses got totally destroyed. But we managed to get two buses, and they've left today. There's 45 people on the two buses, of which 38 are South Africans and 7 are Angolans. The Angolans and Zimbabweans have called on our government to try and assist to see if our country can help them get the nationals out. But only 7 arrived at the point that would have supposed from where people left this morning. It is indeed very difficult because you don't know what's in front of you. You don't know what's on the side of you. You don't know what's behind you. You're not sure the different groups are going to stop you. That's one of the problems. Secondly, the networks keep coming and going. So you can't get information to your own people in time. They're all not in the same place. They're in different parts of the city and in different parts of the country. And then sometimes to get access to where everybody is supposed to meet, it's not possible. There's not enough drivers. There's not enough cars. Movement is difficult. And last night at 12 o'clock, when we're supposed to send out the important message, the entire network failed. And so some people actually missed the bus this morning. And the buses have already left, but we're making alternative arrangements for that.
It must also, difficult to get buses, as you say, also very difficult to get fuel, I'm sure. The military forces there will probably start to try and commandeer all the diesel soon.
Yes, well, fortunately, the companies that you'll be dealing with had access to fuel. And, and the other thing was, the other option was to bring drivers and buses from outside countries. They refused. The insurance cost was too high. The drivers didn't want to come, and they just said it's too difficult to come. But fortunately, we found a very good Sudanese company that gave us the buses. And initially, the first few days, many people were getting buses, but it's getting more complicated now. And with each day, the cost of the bus is becoming far more expensive. But you understand that because it's high risk.
So there's a lot going on. The next thing that's likely to happen, Dr. Sooliman, unfortunately, for the people in Sudan, the Sudanese, they can't move around. They can't get out of their houses. Some of them are going to run out of food soon. Some of them are going to be children who will run out of food.
That's already happening, Stephen. And like when the team members or the South Africans were moving from different parts of the house, different parts of the city to different areas, the one guy said, look, sure, it's the most horrific thing he's ever been through. The bombing has been most intense in his area because his area was close to the presidential palace. And the two groups were fighting intensely there. The bombs were falling everywhere and he had to get out of there. He said getting out was a nightmare. You've seen a shooting everywhere and he said you just see bodies all over. So I said, is this military and the different groups? He says no. It's not only military and the RSF. It's bodies of people, of civilians, all over lying in the streets. Tanks are shooting at each other. Buildings are being brought down. Infrastructure is being destroyed. Hospitals are not functional. Shops are closed. Banks are not working. No water available. Sewage in the streets. It's just carnage and chaos everywhere. And in fact, the first time when he called me, he was more worried about what they're going to do about the Sudanese people rather than how they're going to get out. And he said he feels very, very sorry for those people because it's a dire situation for them. And nobody knows exactly what's going to happen to them.
And Dr. Sooliman, if this fighting continues, and even our president said last week he's worried this could become a civil war. I thought an important point that he made. We could have a massive humanitarian crisis on our hands in a very, very poor country.
That's true. And from the people I've been speaking to, they said, look, the country has been going down for some time now. They say there's sewage in the streets, there's no services, everything is a challenge in the country. There's no development. And they said now, after this, they'll be back in the Stone Ages. And we need a group of international governments, peace bodies, somebody to get the two parties to the table as soon as possible before the civilians destroy their own country. It's not even an outside war. It's people of the country destroying their own country together. It's just crazy. And we need to bring this to an end. And somebody, who they have a relationship with both sides, needs to get in and find some kind of solution. The war is not the way.
Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, thank you, founder of the organization Gift of the Givers.